Ladies and gentlemen, we have another woke journalist literally livid about the backlash that Ubisoft is getting in regards to Assassin's Creed Shadows, which, keep in mind, over 100,000 signatures on this petition made by Japanese gamers who feel the game is disrespecting their culture and is disrespectful because it's historically inaccurate, right? But these guys will tell you night and day that it's a straight white male right wing grift and that we're just outraged by anything and that we're trying to keep Gamergate alive and well, when it's actually quite the opposite. These journalists, and I use that term loosely because they're all cosplaying as journalists, they're really political activists. They're the ones keeping these woke narratives and these agendas alive. They're the ones that are rage baiting. And then when you call them out, when you make content calling out things like this shitty article titled Ubisoft has learned nothing in the last 10 years, literally says you do not need to apologize to these people. This guy, Luke Plunkett, is outraged because Assassin's Creed just a few days back made a statement to the Japanese community, and it wasn't even an apology. So I don't know why these people like Mercante, Plunkett, Cogswell, you name it, are trying to say that Ubisoft shouldn't apologize or try to reason with these people. First and foremost, the only people that shouldn't be reasoned with or talked to or even tried to have a conversation with are you guys, because you guys are sick in the fucking head. You guys have this weird idea that everything needs to be in y'all's echo chamber. They were addressing the Japanese community who, again, over 100,000 signatures, are rightfully pissed. There's all sorts of things about this game, including Ubisoft using a reenactment group flag in the game, in the art book, and it was going to be in the game. It's been removed. They also had the One Piece katana. They had Chinese architecture in the game. Scrolls were being used wrong in the whole trailer. I mean, these Japanese people aren't making up this issue. They're not upset for no fucking reason. For whatever reason, and I've seen it, oh, half the country is a whole bunch of morons. No, yeah. If we're going to go by that logic, the half of the country that's morons are you guys who try to blame this on racism. Literally, the gamer made an article saying that Ubisoft didn't call out racism and that they were too afraid and playing it safe. No, they were coming out doing damage control, saying that this is a historical fiction, even though Thomas Lockley has made up this whole 400-page fake biography about Yusuke that Ubisoft is using as a point of reference. I mean, they even had politicians in Japan take this before the Japanese diet. So this isn't just some kind of little right-wing grift, right? And all these people are just outraged because they want to trigger anybody that's not part of their echo chamber. That's all it's about. And this article is just absolute nuts. You can say, earlier this week, Ubisoft, the company behind Assassin's Creed, felt the need to issue a lengthy statement, and that there's been a whole bunch of controversies, from a minor scuffle over a flag in an art book to some more valid concerns over the architecture to a minor conservative party trying and very much failing to make the game a political scapegoat. And then you got the main issue here. He said there's a lot of people's main issue that one of the game's two protagonists is a black man, despite him being an actual historical figure, which instantly makes him more historically accurate than any other Assassin's Creed protagonist ever. Again, Thomas Lockley has literally gone into hiding because he got exposed editing Wikipedia and Encyclopedia Britannica pages with his falsehoods about Yusuke. And he may have been a historical figure, but not in the sense that Assassin's Creed and other media right now that leans towards the progressive side is trying to portray him as. Now, you can see he says, normally the guys complaining about a black man in a video game are the same ones crying foul over historical accuracy. So this is a wonderful example of just how uninterested these guys are in actual historical accuracy, as I've written about previously. So I guess this is a whole paragraph that he's had from a previous article about Battlefield, where he's calling people angry dorks, right? That his excuse right here said to truly present something accurate to the time period would probably result in a game you wouldn't really enjoy playing. What we often see in a historical FPS action game is just the visual trappings, and that's okay. It's a mass market action game, not a history lesson. What angry dorks mean when they say historical accuracy is not a game that's accurate to the time being presented, then, but accurate to the aspects of that time or the popular historical retelling of it that are sympathetic to their current political and cultural cultural beliefs. Are you kidding me? Does that not scream what the woke agenda is? That you have to manipulate and have consultation firms go and tell developers they have to have DEI here and DEI there, and this group has to be represented, and this character has to be gay. And if it wasn't like that, if it wasn't DEI approved, you wouldn't appreciate the game. And again, I have to point out, it's Japanese people that are the loudest about this. I've seen it. They've come to my comment section. They voice their concerns. This isn't just a made-up right-wing grift. This is more about you guys continuing to cover up for this Yusuke lie. If you made a fictional story for entertainment, why not just make a fictional character? Even if it's a black guy, make a brand new fictional character instead of trying to push this whole narrative about Yusuke. That's the problem that these people that are outraged about the game are upset about. And you can see it for yourselves if you come over here and look at all the comments and everything on the nearly 110,000 signature thing. We're coming up on 101,000. This will be 110 within the week. Probably hit 150,000 by the end of next week. It's capturing steam big time. But these people will spend all day and night, especially these articles that they're writing, trying to say that it's based on racism and that everybody's just rage baiting and that they don't care. They don't care. See, he literally says the perfect response to dealing with shitheads like this is to simply live your life pretending they don't exist. Are you giving us the manual on how to deal with woke people? Because that's not a bad idea. Let's pretend all of you woke progressives don't exist. Let's stop catering to you guys. Let's stop making video games satisfying for you. Let's keep the stuff that you guys hate. How about that? How about we all just get based in our development like Black Myth Wukong and say fuck off to Sweet Baby Inc. Listen to this. This is grand. Their opinions are ill-formed, bigoted, and unsuitable for mainstream consumption, and so should be ignored at all cost. Mainstream consumption is not woke stuff. If you guys look, everything that goes woke, whether it's movies, video games, TV shows, they fail. They get a lot of negative reviews, negative reception. Look at Acolyte. Look at Halo already being canceled. Look at Velma. Look at how well Suicide Squad did on PlayStation and consoles and PC. That game is literally failed because it's infected, and just basically a point of no return when it comes to how much wokeness is put into it. And people are like, oh, it's so cringe that you guys are crying about wokeness. No, you guys mentioned that there's this modern audience. Where is it? Because they aren't showing up to support anything that the wokies are producing. That's why they have to give away free Pride items, because nobody would buy it. Not even the people that celebrate Pride would buy it. So this article is just nuts, literally. Saying in 2024, Ubisoft hasn't learned a damn thing. While the apology appears at first to be mostly addressed to the series' Japanese fans, most of whom being actual fans of a series that has long played loose with history, won't care. It also touches on the matter of Yusuke's place in history, which is a wild thing to commit to public record. No, they actually said that it's debatable, but don't forget the Reddit for Assassin's Creed's joining in on this and banning anybody that is questioning Yusuke's status as a samurai. Why is this so fucking hard for you guys to understand that your narrative isn't true? Why would you have a whole fake history based on a character, whether it's historical or historical fiction or whatever you're trying to input, but then use actual consultants and historians to say, yeah, it's real, he really was a samurai? Like, they're constantly contradicting themselves. And they quote somebody else in this article that basically summed it up. This guy can't even give his own thoughts on stuff. He said, Trone David put so well on Inverse. So there's a guy on Inverse, I guess, that wrote, by issuing this weird non-explanation for the very normal creative decision to tell its version of a popular historical figure story, Ubisoft only lent legitimacy to bad faith complaints seeped in racism. The vocal minority didn't take issue with the many historical inaccuracies of the series' past. You know why they didn't take issue with it? Because wokies like revisionist history. If it's anything that is against straight white gamers, they're all for it. And what better thing than to have a black protagonist to fill in the checkbox? That's not racism. That's straight out calling what y'all's agenda is. I wouldn't have a problem if it was a fictional character created that you guys weren't trying to protect and change Wikipedia pages and Encyclopedia Britannica pages with. These gamers launched a cultural battle once they knew they'd occasionally have to step into the shoes of a black figure in Japan. Ubisoft didn't have to explain its creative decisions. It shouldn't spoon feed obvious answers to a delusional movement based on bigotry, but it did. And see, this is what happens. When you try to appease two wokies, it bites you in the hand. Ubisoft put themselves between a rock and a hard place. It's biting them in the ass. The journals are now attacking them. The journos are now attacking them. Look at this. This sucks. Ubisoft, you should know better. And for everyone creatively involved in the game who had no part in issuing this spineless statement, I'm sorry you're having to continue putting up with this. They're all guilty of it because they were trying to cater to not a vocal minority, a very small minority that doesn't matter. You guys don't matter as much as the casual gamers in the actual country of Japan and that community matter. There's a lot more people upset about this than you want to try to lead everybody else to believe. These damage control articles trying to say that Ubisoft shouldn't apologize, that they've learned nothing. No, what they have not learned is that they shouldn't try to make people like y'all happy at all. Because if we give you an inch, you guys will take a mile. It's never fucking enough. And the wokies will always bite the hand that feeds. So companies, don't placate any of these guys. Don't play game. Don't play ball with woke journals or Sweet Baby Inc. or any kind of consultation firm that wants to put DEI in your games because it will always backfire. They don't like that Ubisoft made a statement towards the Japanese community and they tried to place it on racism. Unfucking real. They just can't stop coping and seething about this game.